morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Today is the day after the auto show event that we was at. As you can see, I'm in my garage. See, my hood is open, so you guys should already know what time it is right now. Today is the day I'm going to be installing my airlift suspension. So it's probably take me a couple days, like I said before, man. And I don't know, I'm gonna just take my time with it. I want it done right. So even if it takes me, 4 days to do, 3 days, normally it should take maybe 2 days, but we'll see. But I do gotta work in between all this process right here, but I am off during the day, so I'll try and get done as much as I can while I'm off work. But yeah, so I'll show you guys pretty much how the car looks right now. So you guys can see the drop. This is on H&R springs at the moment. So this is what H&R springs look like. Alright. So we're gonna be getting this thing to the ground. Next time you guys see this car, it'll be like seriously lowered. So I'm just hoping on. I am running a spacer right here, so you see my wheel is kind of close. My tire is kind of close to my fender, but it should clear because I don't get any rubbing. As you can see, my tire is free of any rub marks. But I am running a spacer. See the spacer right there. So hopefully it doesn't rub when I air out. But I doubt it. Like I said, if it clears while I'm driving and I hit bumps, I shouldn't get any rubs airing out. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and see you guys in a bit. So guys, unfortunately, just working by myself, it's kind of hard to record and work at the same time. My hands are not even that dirty right now because I already washed them once. But I already installed the front bags. I wasn't able to even get that on camera. Like I said, man, it's hard to be able to be here by myself doing this, but I'll try and explain exactly what I did. So if you're familiar with working on your car yourself and suspension, pretty much you can figure this out. So the old suspension, you loosen this upper control arm, you loosen your sway bar end link, and then you loosen the strut bolt. Okay, and then there's a brake line back here. There's a 10mm nut right here. You loosen that, just so when this arm itself comes forward, you're not yanking on the brake line. The brake line doesn't get yanked. So you're gonna free it up by loosening this 10mm right here. So basically at that point, you go up top, you loosen your 3 10mm bolts. Okay, these 3. And then the strut assembly itself will come down. You guide back down here, you push this arm down, and the strut will pass over. Okay, so it will pass over this lower control arm right here. Okay, and then once the strut itself becomes over here, the entire assembly will come down. So with air suspension, pretty much you're just swapping out the entire factory strut assembly, and you're gonna put the airlift in. Now, there's for the upper control arm, there's like these little washers up here on top. There's one on this side and one on the opposite side. Okay, you have to cut these out. That way it doesn't puncture your airbag. So I already cut mine out right here. I might cut it a little bit more. I'm not really satisfied with that cut, but I might cut it just a little bit more, but it's alright. I don't think it's gonna touch. But anyway, so yeah, once you get the assembly out itself, like I said, you're just gonna be swapping. So you go ahead, you wanna attach this airline right here. See, there goes the airline right here attached. So you wanna attach that before you put the strut in. That way you can get, get a good tight on that. So this is already tight and ready to go. And the other end I just left loose for now. So basically, yeah, so once you put that line in, then you put the strut assembly back in. Alright, so once you push it up top here, okay, you make sure you line up the 3 bolts. You go up top, catch those 3 bolts. Make sure that you catch them. Airlift did supply their own bolts, which they're just like, you'll see them, they come on top of the strut itself. It's 3 gold bolts that they supplied. I prefer just to use back the factory bolts. I just like the way they seat better. They seat a little bit better right here with the washer itself. Seat fully on the factory screws. It's the same threads. You can use that back. So now you go back below once you catch those 3 bolts, and you go ahead and make sure the strut is over this lower control arm. So you want to make sure the strut is in place. As you can see right there, it sits right in between this arm. So you want to go ahead and catch that bolt, make sure it goes through, feed it to the other end, catch the nut on it. See, there's a nut. So the factory has no nut. It's just pretty much the strut itself has threads that the bolt screws in. So now with this setup, like I said, it's a nut and bolt. So you go ahead and slide the bolt through. You catch the nut right here on this side. See my finger? Okay, you catch the nut, tighten it down, get it, get it snug. And like I said, once that strut is in place, you go ahead and put back your upper control arm. Catch that nut, make sure that's that's caught. You don't have to tighten it right away. And go ahead and get your end link back in for your sway bar. So you put that back in, make sure you catch that. Then I do the actual 10mm back here lastly. So once I catch this, now I'll go ahead and tighten it down fully. Then I go ahead and start tightening everything. I'll tighten this bolt next, tighten this next, and then last I'll tighten the upper control arm. Make sure all assembly parts are tightened, and it should be fine. So that should be it for the front strut itself on the install. Like I said, man, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to show you guys exactly, but I'm sure that was a pretty good explanation. You guys should be able to figure it out just with putting the strut assembly back in. So hopefully you guys can figure that out, man. I apologize, like I said, but I am here by myself doing this. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the back now and see if I can catch some sort of footage doing that for you guys. But if not, I'll do the same exact thing, just go back over it and explain it. Alright guys, so this is day 4 of my installation. I had a couple things where I was kind of honestly learning it, man, as I go. So I'm not able to, I wasn't able to record a lot of stuff that you guys truly need to see, but I can explain it. You guys can figure this out. Honestly, if you have any kind of mechanical idea of how to do things, you should be able to get this done, honestly, man. And they have detailed instructions also that Airlift do send you. So I don't see why you can't be able to get this done on your own. I'm just trying to explain exactly and show you what I did, and maybe you guys can pick up and do your own thing. So in the rear, after I showed you guys the front install that I did, I did show you guys the bags and stuff. So now in the rear, I had to actually build the bag. It's like a kit that they sell you. So it's like a bottom plate. See this plate right here? Alright, there should be 2 of these plates. There should be one here, and there should be one on the top. I didn't end up using the top one because the top one gets snagged right here. If the top one was there, it was actually sitting on this arm. So once you air out, it's gonna get hung up. So I talked to a buddy of mine, and he said he had the same problem with his Challenger. I'm sorry if you guys are hearing the lawnmowers, or the weed whackers. These guys are going crazy here. I'm sorry. So yeah, a friend of mine, I spoke to him about it, and his bags had to install the same exact way. He has a Challenger. So follow the instructions, build a bag. Like I said, that top plate, you won't be able to use it. I'll show you that top plate here in a minute. So go ahead and build the bags. The airline needs to be facing outwards towards the wheel. Okay, see the airline right there? This is where the airline is going to go into. I did remove the strut to get the bag in, just to get some flexibility at the arm. So I removed the strut from here, and I removed the arm from the inside, that bolt right there, and lowered the arm down. I also took off this is called the I forgot what this arm is called. Whatever. It's a toe link, I think it's a toe link or something. I think it's called. Anyway, it adjusts the toe of the vehicle. So Airlift has a spacer that you have to put in here, which the spacer is already in there. I did put it in, so you'll have to loosen this bolt also. So this bolt, the strut, and that bolt inside, and you'll be able to get the airbag in. You'll be able to get the adjustment nut in, as you can see. The airbag can move left and right. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's adjusted right now, far left. Okay, let's see. Alright, yeah, you can see the adjustment right there. Look at the bolt. There's like an opening next to the bolt right there. See that? So the bag itself, you can slide the bag left, or you can slide the bag, left or right. Okay, so right now it's slid all the way to the left because you gotta have some sort of space in between this arm and the actual drive axle. So you can see I am clearing the axle. So the bag is not gonna touch the axle and it's not gonna touch this arm right here once it air out. Like I said, with that top plate, it was sitting on this arm right here. It's not usable on the Chargers. I'm not sure about any other vehicle. I'm just talking about the Chargers here or the Challengers. So this is the plate that I'm talking about. I wasn't able to use. So this is what it looks like. It would sit on top of the bag like that. So like I said, I wasn't able to use this plate right here. It's gonna function exactly the same. And the same goes for both sides. As you can see, the bag is in. No plate up top. And you can see the plate at the bottom right there. Nothing up top. And the airline facing outwards. Same exact as the other side. Should be able to figure it out. Now in the trunk setup, I was able to actually like lay it out on the floor, figure out how I want it, and bolt everything down. So right now everything is bolted down. You know, everything is already in place. Now I did misplace the just if you're gonna get this Airlift, man, just make sure you check the boxes well, because I didn't notice that the fittings for the tank, I was missing them. I didn't know where they were, but apparently they was in the bottom of the box, like underneath, you know, one of the flaps in the box itself. So until I really dug, I did end up finding it yesterday after I bought these fittings. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch this out today also. As you can see, I have brass fittings right now on there. I'm not liking that. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch those out. Put the correct fittings that Airlift did send. I'll show you those right now. So this is the bag right here that was hidden, that I found. Look at all these fittings that I misplaced. And well, I didn't misplace it, but it was in the bottom of the box. Couldn't find it. But anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch these out and get all that, you know, tucked away properly. So the wire harness, like I said, this is all Airlift give you instructions on everything. So there's a wire harness right here. You go ahead and you know, just wire it up, and all my wiring is below. I still got to clean all this up 100%. I gotta bolt these up, get these supported up here. This is the relays. As you can see, the two relays right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and secure those. This is just extra wire because it's mounted in the trunk and not in the front of the car. More extra wire for the second compressor. So everything is pretty much, you know, done. I just got to clean it up a little bit, and I'll be all squared away. I wired it to the fuse box. Like I said, follow the instructions in the box that they give you. It's really easy. It just took me a little while, but anyway, like I said, man, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off right now because the lawnmower, they're about to do the grass in my yard. So I'm gonna cut it off right now for a minute, and I'll get back with you guys in a minute when it's all done. All right, guys, welcome back. So I got the suspension all done. I'm actually finally on air ride. So right now it's set where that's my ride height. This is where the car starts up at. It raises automatically once it starts. So I did set that ride height. Let me show you guys the back. So that's my ride height right there. Look at that. Still looks like I'm on H&R springs for the most part. The front might be just a little bit lower, which I'm kind of happy with that. I do get that little bit lower option in the front to ride like that. But so pretty much with the suspension, it's probably kind of dark when I'm sorry if you guys not seeing me well, but I'm in my garage. So anyway, with the suspension, what I end up doing, let me try and get some light for you guys. Alright, That might be a little bit better. So I went ahead and I think I showed you guys this. The actual air tank, this is how I set it up. That's the actual controller box right there, the manifold. And it's a dual compressor setup. So as you can see, I set everything up correctly. Everything is functioning. There's like a water trap. Everything is functioning properly. Now, I didn't get to show you guys how I ran the lines, but it's pretty much self-explanatory. You know, you run the lines underneath the car, and this is exactly what I end up doing. I drilled one hole, and I got a, you know, just a rubber from the plumbing department in Lowe's, and I went ahead and just clamped it. I clamped it on this end. I went underneath the car where this hole is at, clamped it over there also. So it's clamped, and these are my 4 air lines for each bag coming in. Okay, see the 4 of them. So those air lines are actually running just right below the carpet. See, it's going forward and right to my manifold. Comes up right there. So it's coming out behind the tank and then right to the manifold. Pretty clean setup. Y'all gonna have some extra wiring. What I did is with the dual compressor setup, you got 2 different wiring. Like I said, there's instructions, man. If you pay attention, you can do this yourself. I'm telling you, it might take you a couple days. It took me 4, but you can do it. Anyway, so I went ahead and tie strapped the 2 extra aluminum wires together just to kind of make one set of wires instead of having, you know, wires all over the place. I went ahead and secured the relays. There's 2 of them. These relays right here are for the compressors. And then pretty much I just wired the remote wire right to my box, which is, this is my fuse box itself. Let's see if I can open that up. There we go. So as you can see, I jumped it right here. I don't know, that lighting is probably not the best, but I jumped it right here on a fuse. I did use the fuse that controls my my adaptive cruise control, and yeah, that was pretty simple. It's just grounded over here. On the side there's a ground. That's factory ground. I just grounded it to that also. And this is the main power right here, just going to the fuse box. So it's pretty simple. So it's just a remote wire, power wires, ground wire. Simple. Like I said, if you read instructions well, man, like I said, man, you can do this yourself. It didn't take me, you know, it took me, like I said, it took me 4 days, but I was able to do it myself, and I'm happy with the outcome. So, like I said, man, if you can read instructions properly, they give you everything. They tell you in detail. So this is all instructions right here. I just kept them to the side, and like I said, went together pretty nice. So with the controller, I ran the wire in for the controller underneath the back seat, just like I did in my my previous video with the when I did my rear diffuser. So you just take the back seat out, it pulls right up. You just tug on the back seat right here, pull it upwards, it'll unlatch. So I ran it up on the side, right on the side of the center console. So it's coming up, the wiring is coming up, you know, from the back of the car to the side of the center console, up on the side over here, right where, like, you know, my wife's leg would be, on the side of this console, and it just comes up right here. So that's my controller right here. Let's go ahead and turn it on so you can see. So once you get it all together, you're gonna have to do a leak test overnight. So the first night I did a leak test, I'm sorry, let me turn it off for now. So the first night I did a leak test, I actually yeah, my joint was actually, well, you air it up to 125 psi's, and then, you know, you let it sit for whatever amount of hours. The first time, well, I left it for over 12 hours it sat for, but I did come out 6 hours later before I went to work, and I lost about 20 psi's on that the front right strut, and all the other 3 was only down maybe 5 psi's. So now the next morning I came back now, which was about 12 or 13 hours later, and that right side front now, it was down to 62 psi's, which that's over 60 psi's it lost, you know what I mean? Just about, you know. So at that point I was like, there had to be a leak, you know what I mean? This is something you got to do. You got to test for leaks. All the other 3 I think they were at like 110, which is, you know, all three of them at the same. That tells me obviously that's normal. So I went ahead and tightened the steel braided line on the front strut, and that was it, man. I did another leak test this morning, came out, and it was at 117. The two fronts were at 117 and the two rears were at 116. So at that point right there, it tells me there's no leaks. So anyway, back to the controller. So it just comes on just like that. You have your, this is your like your high ride setting. So you have a high setting you can do for ride height. All right. That's like my high setting right there. You can see I got it set at 98 in the front, 110 in the rear. So now the actual ride height that the car starts at is at 68. I'm sorry. All right, back to that. All right, so like I said, my highest ride height, I got it set at 98 in the front, 110 in the rear. So that's the highest I want my car to be able to go to whenever I like need to air up. If I hit that setting, that's where it will go up. Now when I start the car, it automatically rises. So this is what I have it set at to automatically rise. 68, 95 in the rear. So you see the highest one was 98 and 110 in the rear. And I got 68, 95 in the rear. That's my actual ride height. Then I have a lower ride height. I got it at 60 and 78 PSIs. So my actual ride height now is at 68 and 95. That's the one the car starts up at. And then if I want to go a little lower, I can still ride the car. It's at 60 in the front, 78 in the rear. And then you have the air out option. So which I'm going to air the car right now. I'm sure you guys heard that. Anyway, so right now the car's aired out. Let me get out and show you guys what it looks like aired out. So that's it. See how the front tucks right in, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the camera up, and my back tucks in nicely. Literally like sits right on the tire pretty much. It's right up in there. I'm happy with the way it looks dropped. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and set this camera up. And matter of fact, before I set the camera up, let me show you guys the front strut. So the front strut does have an adjustment. You know, you can ride stiffer if you want. Right now I do have this adjusted to 20. You just turn it low and high. Okay, you go, obviously I went 20 clicks up. I think it came preset at 18 or something like that. It came preset at 15. So anyway, you can adjust how stiff you want it to ride, which is pretty cool. That's just like pretty much like coilovers. So if you're familiar with coilovers, yeah, that's pretty much exactly the same as coilovers. I went ahead and put an Airlift sticker there. Pretty cool. So when I'm showing, you know, you guys can see the Airlift sticker. And then I did one more. They supplied me with 2 stickers. I put one right on the back window. So looks pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, let me set the camera up and show you guys how the car airs up and down. Alright, so hopefully you guys seen that. That was pretty much how it functions up and down. Pretty cool. I'm happy with it. Like I said. So unfortunately, like I said, I wasn't able to get footage of me actually doing it. I do have plans probably to air ride someone else's car. Now that I know what I'm doing, 100%. I will get that on footage. So, you know, this is just kind of maybe to help someone out that wants to do it. It can be done on your own. So, but like I said, once I get that other car I can air ride, I'm gonna go ahead and set it up and get that footage for you guys, and maybe be able to show you guys the exact process then. But yeah, there it goes, man. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. It's probably already a 20-minute video. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Peace.